So, today I'm going to make a drink called Devil's Soul, and I've wanted to make it since I saw the recipe. It looked kind of interesting. It's a real mix of kind of drinks that I really like, but I wonder if they're actually going to come together. It's been described as a bit of a hot mess, this drink, because there's so many different ingredients in it. Well, 5 to be honest, but they're not normally kind of cocktail ingredients that go together. And someone described the drink as a hot mess. Other people say it's really harmonious and all the ingredients go together. Well, thank you very much. I'll be the judge of that. But nonetheless, today was a good day to do this drink because I went to play pickleball earlier on. It was in a ladder that me and Lysander are in, and suffice to say, although I managed to make it somehow into the top group this week, it was not my day. I did not have a good day. I got crushed. It was a real hot mess of a pickleball day. In fact, I feel like this character. I don't know if you can see the image on my t-shirt. It's the knight in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. You know, the one that says, "'Tis but a scratch," as he's getting chopped to pieces, arm sort of going flying, his legs getting chopped off. So, good, I'll fight you. I'll carry on fighting. "'Tis but a scratch." I was a bit like that, and I got crushed. I didn't win a single game. I just felt sorry for all the partners I had to play with because they lost every time as well. The film itself, it then reminds me that me and Lysander watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail a couple of years ago. He loved it. And I don't want to provide any spoilers, but at the very end, there's a little sort of twist and everything goes a bit unexpectedly, and as Monty Python often does. And I was just like, no, that is the worst. I can't believe they did that. That ruined the whole film. He didn't storm off. We've watched it again since, but it was kind of a funny reaction. Anyway, this drink is my ode to my hot mess of a day, but I think it's actually going to be a pretty delicious drink. It starts with rye whiskey, and you'll notice I'm not using my usual rye whiskey here. Typically I use George Dickel, or occasionally I've used Jack Daniel's rye and a couple of other ones as well. This recipe calls for 100 proof rye, and it turns out this Old Forester rye I quite like is 100 proof, and I'm going to use that. And the reason you need 100 proof, you need the extra spiciness, the extra bite of the alcohol to kind of tame some of the other ingredients that are going into this drink. I've got you interested now, I hope. Anyway, we need 1.5 ounces of this 100 proof rye whiskey. Like so. I'm splashing it all over the place there, but whatever. That's just like the shots I was doing today on the pickleball court. Next ingredient, we're going to use some of my mezcal union. So mezcal we need, mezcal joven. We need a 1/2 ounce of this. Give it that little smoky sensation to go with the spiciness of the rye whiskey. Next, we need an amaro. We are going to use Averna amaro. It's really going crazy. I mean, wait till you see what else is going in there. 1/2 ounce of this particular amaro. There we go. And then another, well, it's a bitter aperitivo, Aperol. And really, what else is going to go onto this craziness? We just want 1/4 ounce of this bitter orange liqueur, or aperitivo, not a liqueur. 1/4 ounce, like so. And then the final ingredient is one that I don't use very often, and I don't have the famous version of this, which is Saint-Germain. I'm using Driald elderflower liqueur, and famously this is known as bartender's ketchup. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's supposed to mean that you can put it with anything and it sort of sweetens things up. I don't get it. I'm more of a brown sauce guy myself rather than ketchup, but except on burgers, because you've got ketchup on burgers. But nonetheless, we're going to put in another 1/4 ounce of this into our mixing glass that we've filled amply with ice, because we want it to not get too diluted. We do want it to get cold though. And I'm going to stir this for the normal 20 seconds or so. I'm guessing 20 seconds. I do have a clock on the top of my camera, my phone, as I've mentioned before. So I do get a fairly good idea of how long 20 seconds is. because otherwise I'd just be talking and talking, and who knows how long this would go on for. Well, a long time, I think we all know that. There we go. That is feeling very nice and chilled. So I'm going to strain this into my chilled cocktail glass. How did I chill it? Well, I put it into the freezer for about a couple of minutes or 5 or something. It comes out very cold. You can still see the condensation on the side, so you know that's worked. Anyway, I'm using a Nicanora glass that I've frozen somewhat. If you don't have a freezer, you can always put a couple of ice cubes in and a little bit of water and just leave it in there chilling that way. That gets the glass very cold in a couple of minutes. And anyway, we're going to strain this right into the glass. We can see it's the perfect amount. Isn't that satisfying? And then we need a twist of orange, a nice thick twist, because you do want it to be able to squirt out some of the orange oil on top. The aromatics from that really helps make the drink. And I could just put this on top of the drink like that, try and make it look kind of pretty, you know, unlike my pickleball game today, the opposite of pretty, ugly in fact. But let's see what we've got. That is a really interesting hot mess. Cheers.